Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 5:31.930. Lars is on their practice outlap. Eric Wolfs has a best lap time of 4:20.672. Colin Mack is on their practice outlap. Eric Wolfs posted 4:21.979 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Colin Mack is on their practice outlap. It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions. Like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right, in Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
You know, mate, watching these practice sessions, you think the driver just jumps in and goes. But there's a heck of a lot more to it. Starting with that aero package, the balance between drag and downforce.
Oh, for sure. You tweak the front wing just a smidge, and you could have a totally different beast on your hands. Depending on the track, they might want more downforce for those tight corners or reduce it for the long straights to maximize speed.
Eric Wolfs posted a 4:21.979 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Sunoila Armin has a best lap time of 4:19.048. Rob and O is on their practice out lap. Eric Wolfs has a best lap time of 4:20.672. Sunoiler Armin posted 4:19.048 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Colin Mack is on their practice out lap. Lars is on their practice out lap. With just 296 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Ever heard the pit crew chat about wheel camber? Sounds like a dance move, but trust me, it's all car talk.
Haha, yeah, camber is the angle of the wheel relative to the road. A bit of negative camber, where the top of the tire leans inwards, can give more grip in the corners. But too much and you're looking at premature wear on the inside of the tire. It's a balancing act, and each track requires its own setting.
Oi, these practices Arena Euro T just a walkabout in the park. It's here that races are often won or lost.
Absolutely. Back home in North Carolina, we emphasize the setup. A few tweaks during practice can lead to major gains on race day.
Sunoiler Armin posted a 5:07.527 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Chris Ilduke has a best lap time of 4:30.847. Jury U has a best lap time of 4:22.837. Wayne P is getting to grips with the BMW M1 Procar in this practice session. With just 292 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Colin Mack is getting to grips with the BMW M1 Procar in this practice session. Robin O is getting to grips with the BMW M1 Procar in this practice session. Sunoiler Armin posted a 4:18.007 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There are just over 290 minutes left in this practice session. Mate, these drivers aren't just burning rubber for the fun of it. They're chasing the ghost, that perfect lap that's always just out of reach.
Absolutely. Back in my racing days, I used to call it chasing the dragon. It's that feeling when you know there's still a little more in the tank, a fraction of a second to be found.
Jury U posted 4:30.350 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Robin O is on their first practice flying lap. Wayne P has a best lap time of 4:27.368. Colin Mack has a best lap time of 4:39.355. With just 287 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Wayne P posted a 4:30.758 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Richard Rossier is on their practice out lap. Jerry Yu posted 4:25.295 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Robin O has a best lap time of 4:15.528. Now, here's a term some might not be familiar with: roll bar stiffness. Sounds technical, doesn't it?
It does, but in essence, it's about how the car reacts to lateral forces, especially during cornering. Adjusting the roll bar can change how the car behaves mid-corner. A softer setting can be more forgiving, but a stiffer one might give the driver a quicker response, albeit with less margin for error.
It's a bit like looking for water in the outback. These drivers are searching for that sweet rhythm, where everything just clicks.
Spot on. It's that elusive flow state. When everything syncs up, the car, the track, the driver, that's when magic happens.
With just 284 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Richard Rossier is on their practice out lap. Sunoiler Armin posted a 4:18.584 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Wayne P posted 4:30.758 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Richard Rossier is on their practice out lap. Chris Ilduke has a best lap time of 4:30.847. Roll Postmo is on their practice out lap. Richard Rossier is on their practice out lap. Roll Postmo is on their practice out lap. It's a masterclass from Roll Postmo in this qualification session. They have stamped their authority on the track, setting the pace and currently leading the pack. It's an outstanding performance, and they are making their intentions clear for the race ahead.
I completely agree, Rob. Roel Postma has left everyone in awe with their remarkable performance. They have set the benchmark and are making a statement that they are the driver to beat.
What a performance from Richard Rossier. They currently occupy second on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot?
Spot on analysis, Rob. Richard Rossier has positioned themselves well in second. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
Currently in fifth, Chris Ilduke has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Absolutely, Rob. Chris Ilduke has put in a remarkable effort to secure fifth. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
A solid qualifying performance by Megasaurus 55, positioning them in fourth at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. What a fantastic showing from Roll Postma in qualifying. They currently hold the top spot and are in prime position for a strong starting position. Their lap times have been exceptional, and they have showcased their talent and determination. Chris Ilduke has put in a great effort and currently holds 5th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Chris Ilduke has positioned themselves impressively in 5th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
A strong showing from Megasaurus 55 as they currently sit in 4th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Incredible drive by Wayne P so far, earning them 10th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up? There are just over 25 minutes left in this qualification session. Roll Postma has completed their outlap. Roll Postma has completed their outlap. Richard Rossier has positioned themselves well in 7th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Chris Ilduke has secured a respectable 3rd in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance?
Great analysis, Rob. Chris Ilduke has shown excellent pace to secure 3rd. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
Chris Ilduke has completed their outlap. And there goes Richard Rossier, currently in position 4. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Richard Rossier's current position of 4th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on the starting position.
Impressive work from Roll Postma, who has claimed 2nd on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position.
I completely agree, Rob. Roll Postma has positioned themselves impressively in 2nd. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
Roll Postma has just completed that lap in 4:14.361. Their best lap so far is 4:14.361, putting them in P2. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? It's an impressive showing by Richard Rossier, currently in 5th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths? Richard Rossier has just completed a lap in 4:17.442. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. A mesmerizing display from Robin O in this qualifying session. They have left everyone in awe with their speed and precision. Currently leading the pack, they are setting the standard and sending a clear message to their competitors. Robin O has completed their outlap. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. Eric Wolfs has completed their outlap. What a performance from Colin Mack. They currently occupy 9th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? Colin Mack has completed their first flying lap in 4:36.338. Impressive display by Wayne P, currently sitting in position 8. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. Disappointing performance from Megasaurus 55 in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race. Megasaurus 55 has completed their outlap. A strong showing from Richard Rossier as they currently sit in 5th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Richard Rossier has just completed that lap in 4:17.442. Their best lap so far is 4:17.442. Putting them in P5. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? Jerry Yu has put in a great effort and currently holds 7th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? Jerry Yu has just completed a lap in 4:20.389. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Eric Wolfs has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. A solid qualifying performance by Roll Postma, positioning them in second at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. A solid performance from Eric Wolfs as they currently hold position 9. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. Eric Wolfs has completed their first flying lap in 4:20.547. Currently in second, Roll Postma has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. Roll Postma will be happy having put themselves into second in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Megasaurus 55 has just completed that lap in 4:14.819. Their best lap so far is 4:14.819, putting them in P3. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? Impressive work from Jury Yu, who has claimed 8th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. It's been a challenging day for Wayne P in qualifying. They currently sit in 11th position, which is not reflective of their true potential. With the session nearing its end, they'll need to push hard and extract every ounce of performance to improve their result.
I completely agree, Rob. Wayne P is in a difficult position, but they have the opportunity to analyze their performance so far and make the necessary adjustments. It's all about regrouping and giving their best shot in the remaining time.
Richard Rossier has secured a respectable 6th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? A dominant display by Robin O in this qualifying session. They have put in a stunning lap time and find themselves at the top of the leaderboard. The other drivers will have their work cut out to match their speed and claim that pole position.
Absolutely, Robin O is making their presence known with their outstanding performance. Their competitors will need to dig deep and find something special to challenge their supremacy.
Robin O has just completed a lap in 4:11.391. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. And there goes Richard Rossier, currently in position 6. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Richard Rossier has done a fantastic job to claim 6th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Richard Rossier has some work to do, as that 4:20.967 is only good enough for 6th.
There's still more time to be had, but I don't know if they are going to find it before the session is over.
It's an impressive showing by Jerry Yu, currently in 8th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? It's been a challenging session for maybe today Satan. They're currently languishing in 12th position, which is not where they had envisioned themselves. But in motorsport, anything can happen, and with their skill and determination, they might still turn things around.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Maybe today Satan is currently facing a challenging situation, but
Maybe today Satan has completed their outlap. Richard Rossier has positioned themselves well in 6th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
Absolutely, Rob. Richard Rossier has shown great potential to secure 6th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
Incredible drive by Sunoiler Armin so far, earning them 4th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Sunoiler Armin's current position of 4th is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
A solid qualifying performance by Richard Rossier, positioning them in 6th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. Impressive display by Eddie G, currently sitting in position 7. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. Richard Rossier has put in a great effort and currently holds 6th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? A challenging session for Wayne P so far. They're currently in 11th position, which is not where they wanted to be. But in motorsport, we've seen remarkable comebacks, and they'll be hoping to turn their fortunes around and secure a better result. What a performance from Sunoiler Armin. They currently occupy 4th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot?
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Sunoiler Armin has positioned themselves impressively in 4th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Incredible performance by Robin O so far. They have been the benchmark in this qualification session, consistently setting fast lap times and securing the top spot. It's a commanding position for them, and their rivals will be chasing their tail. Robin O has completed their first flying lap in 4:11.391. Lights snuffed out, and crikey, they're off like a bucket of prawns in the sun.
It's all about keeping a level head and finding your groove. Like dancing to a country tune, one misstep and you're two-stepping right into trouble.
Rob and O will be looking to convert their pole position into a win. Roll Postmo is second.
Another good start for the Dutch driver.
And in the third position, it's none other than Megasaurus 55. The fourth position is occupied by Sunoiler Armin. Securing the fifth place is Lars.
I'm sure Lars will be expecting to bring home solid points from here.
From the middle of the pack, we have Richard Rossier in sixth place on the starting grid. Sitting in seventh is Eddie G.
Lining up in the mid-pack.
Jerry Yu is lining up eighth. As the engines roar to life, Eric Wolfs prepares to take off from the ninth position on the starting grid.
But sometimes the underdog can surprise you. Let's see what they've got in the tank.
Starting from 10th on the grid is a good position for Chris Ilduke to launch an attack. Wayne P has qualified 11th. Maybe today Satan is going to be starting from 12th.
Maybe today Satan has been looking strong all week. Expect big things.
Starting from 13th on the grid is a tough ask for Colin Mack, but they're up for the challenge.
Colin Mack will be hoping for some good points today.
Excellent work from Rob and O, who has managed to increase their lead over Roll Postmo. They seem to have found their rhythm and they are grooving to it. But with every smooth turn, comes the risk of wrecking their car. Who will be the first to push it too far and crash out of the race?
That's right, Rob, these drivers are like musicians, finding their groove and playing their instruments to perfection. But just like in music, even the best players can hit a wrong note. Let's hope none of these drivers make any mistakes and end up singing the blues. You said it, Rob, with great power comes great responsibility. But sometimes, these drivers forget that and let their egos take the wheel. Let's hope they keep their eyes on the road and not on their own reflections in the mirror. Someone shoot the board?
Seems so. Rob and O's taken a slide, but knowing them, it's just a part of the dance.
Races are full of ups and downs, kinda like my Aunt Patty's porch swing. Rob and O will bounce back, no doubt about it.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
Mate, if I had $1 for every time Megasaurus 55 looked like overtaking, I'd be sipping mojitos on a beach right now.
Things are heating up as Rob and O tries to close the gap to Megasaurus 55.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Rob and O close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Hold your breath, folks. Wayne P is sandwiched between two relentless competitors, Colin Mack 0.2 seconds behind and Eddie G 0.2 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position.
You're right on the money, Rob. Wayne P is caught between two determined rivals, and the gaps to the cars ahead and behind add an extra layer of complexity. It's a delicate balance between defense and seeking opportunities.
Oh, this is getting intense. Eddie G is just behind Rob and O. Stone the Crows. Eddie's on fire, surging ahead like there's a free round at the pub waiting. Hello, 10th. Disappointing for Eddie G, they now find themselves in 12th.
That's got to hurt. Eddie G will be kicking themselves right now.
The gap between Eddie G in 13th and Colin Mack remains over a second, but Eddie G is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 87 minutes? Well, Jerry Yu, if you're looking for a way past, you'll need a please and thank you, and a slab of beer for Megasaurus 55. It's happy hour, and they're not giving an inch. Look at that, maybe today Satan is hot on the tail of Chris Ilduke.
They say pressure makes diamonds. Well, maybe today Satan's shining bright, closing in with every heartbeat.
Crikey. Maybe today Satan is losing touch with Chris Duke quicker than a kangaroo on a trampoline. The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics. But we all know that's impossible. Or is it? I mean, we're a couple of AI commenting on a race, anything can happen.
Ha ha. You have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier. Or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. Blimey, maybe today Satan is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster. Looks like Megasaurus 55 is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. The roaring engines are echoing Megasaurus 55's battle cry. Richard Rosier, can you hear the thunder?
Maybe today Satan seems to be putting the pressure on Robin O.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
Remember that time Robin O made that audacious move on the last lap? Feels like deja vu, doesn't it, Rob?
Big gains for Robin O as they move up the field, leaving Chris Duke behind. One thing I admire about Assetto Corsa Friends is the sense of community. It's not just about the competition. It's about coming together, sharing knowledge, and pushing the boundaries of the sport.
You nailed it. Every time they hit the track, it's a culmination of shared experiences, lessons learned, and an undying passion for the sport. It's heartwarming and exhilarating all at once.
It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Chris Duke's got Robin O in their crosshairs. Blimey, Colin Mack's determination reminds me of a kangaroo in a hopping contest.
Well, over here in the States, it's more like a squirrel chasing down its last nut before winter. Either way, it's entertaining to watch.
The gap between Colin Mack and Eddie G is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 1.9 seconds. This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
Ha ha, that's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Richard Rossi is inching ever closer to Megasaurus 55.
It's a game of strategy now as Richard Rosier hunts down Megasaurus 55. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Tell ya what, Lars is trailing like my mate Dave after a bender. Hope there's no random testing today. Oh mate, Richard Rossi is more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie.
I agree, Richard Rosier is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
Alright, lads and ladies, it's stop the press. Eddie's duffed it up. They're gonna need more than a coldie to forget that one.
Whoops, Eddie G is going to be kicking themselves.
Oi, Eric Wolfs is on Robin O like a drop bear on an unsuspecting tourist.
Drop bear? Had to Google that one. But yeah, here it's like a linebacker on a quarterback sack.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Bloody hell, Robin O's tearing up the tarmac and just snatched sixth. Makes you want to crack a cold one in celebration.
Dang, if Robin O keeps this up, we'll need to douse the track. Smokin' hot move to 6th.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
Looks like Lars has got more moves than a cowboy in a honky-tonk bar. Sunoiler Armin better watch out or he'll be two-step right off the track.
Lars is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Sunoiler Armin at the moment. Looks like Eddie G is chasing Wayne P harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thumbs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right? Sorry to cut in here. Looks like Megasaurus 55 is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start? Blimey, Eddie's more eager to catch Wayne P than a bloke at the bar at last call. Hope he's got the stamina for this chase. Fantastic move from Eddie G, who has just gained a position.
I tell ya, Eddie's hotter than a peppered pickle right now. Bold and spicy, claiming 11th like a champ.
The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit and it's going to make for some exciting racing. Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Eric Wolfs is getting closer to Jerry Yu, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. The pressure is on for Eddie G as they try to catch up to Wayne P. It's like David versus Goliath out there. Eddie G just slung a stone and gained ground, while Wayne P is left searching for footing. Would y'all look at that gap? Wayne P's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger. It's not looking good for Wayne P. They are still behind Eddie G and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Robin O is placed 4th at the moment.
You're right. Every gear shift, every turn counts. Robin O knows the weight of that 4th.
Crikey. Robin O's flat out like a lizard drinking, pulling away from Richard Rossier with quite a clip. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Lars will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
Well, slap my grandma and call me Sally. Lars has got more distance to cover than my cousin Cletus has teeth. But if anyone can bridge that gap, it's Lars.
The gap between Chris Iljuk and maybe today Satan may be wide, but that doesn't mean Chris Iljuk is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. He's pulling away. Chris Iljuk is increasing the gap to maybe today Satan. It looks like maybe today Satan needs to dig deep and find some courage to catch up. Will they be able to take the risk and push their car to the limit?
That's right, Rob, it's time for maybe today Satan to show us what they're made of. Will they be brave enough to go for it, or will they be content with just following in the footsteps of Chris Iljuk? Let's see who's got the guts to take the lead.
Remember the days when manual gear shifting was the norm? It's all so computerized and sleek now.
Oh, the memories. But I must admit, I do admire the finesse of today's paddle shifters. Gives me a whole new level of appreciation for the blend of man, machine, and tech.
Hold on to your stubbies. Eddie G is closing in on maybe today Satan like a bachelor at the end of a Bucks night. Hope maybe today Satan either brought some lube or protection.
Will Eddie G be able to make a move and pass maybe today Satan?
Sunoiler Armin isn't just racing, they're weaving a narrative, sitting proudly in second. Hold on to your hats, folks. Eddie G is right on the heels of maybe today Satan, and we're in for a wild ride. An impressive showing from Eddie G, who has gained positions and left maybe today Satan in the dust.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Eddie G needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
Oh, this is getting intense. Maybe today Satan is just a few car lengths behind Eddie G.
Sweet tea and biscuits. Maybe today Satan's got the pedal to the metal, chasing down Eddie G like it's the last slice of pie at a family reunion.
Looks like Colin Mack's playing in the dirt. Took me back to when I tried rallying in my mum's old sedan. Good times, expensive repairs.
I swear, Colin Mack's acting like they found Elvis off track. Spoiler, the king ain't there.
The race is really heating up. Maybe today Satan is hunting down Eddie G with everything they've got. Looks like maybe today Satan remembered to twist that anti-roll bar, giving them better cornering. If they get any closer to Eddie G, they'll be seeing what they had for brekkie. Blimey, Colin Mack's gunning it in 13th. Just a whisker behind Megasaurus 55. Hope he's got his budgie smugglers on, cause things are about to get wet and wild.
It's hotter than a jalapeno out here. If Colin Mack gets any closer to Megasaurus 55, we're gonna need to put this stream on OnlyFans.
Oi, maybe today Satan's giving it a red hot go in 10th. Just a few kangaroo hops behind Eddie G. Might see a cheeky move soon.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Maybe today Satan needs to stay patient and wait for Eddie G to make a mistake.
The gap between maybe today Satan and Eddie G is growing. It's now up to 1.4 seconds. With all these modern racing aids, I sometimes wonder, would the legends of the past, the real trailblazers of the sport, have had it easier or tougher today?
That's a debate for the ages, Rob. The tracks might have evolved, the cars definitely have, but the heart of racing? That's eternal.
Well, it doesn't look like Colin Mack is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Megasaurus 55.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
It's not going to plan for Colin Mack. They are still behind Megasaurus 55 and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. You reckon maybe today Satan's got a shot, mate?
I'd say it's like trying to throw a football into a moving pickup truck from 50 yards. Tough, but not impossible.
It's a great day, and the tarmac's heating up, and these tires are getting a proper workout.
Speaking of which, tire management is such an underrated skill. Knowing when to push hard and when to conserve, it's like a strategic dance out there on the asphalt.
We're watching Eddie G in 9th, and is currently being hounded by maybe today Satan with a gap of just 0.3 seconds.
Y'all ever feel someone's breath on your neck? Cause Eddie G is getting a whole lot of it from maybe today Satan.
Impressive stuff from Eddie G, who has managed to pull away from Maybe Today Satan, leaving them choking in their exhaust fumes. This is edge of the seat stuff. Wayne P is relentlessly hunting down Maybe Today Satan. Who'll blink first?
As we say in North Carolina, if the porch light's on, someone's home. And Wayne P's making it known. He's right there, waiting to make his move on Maybe Today Satan.
Breaking news, folks. Well, if it isn't Chris Duke, the wild wallaby of the track, hopping right off the tarmac.
Yeehaw, Chris Duck decided to do a little off-roading. Wrong event, partner.
This is a thrilling battle as Maybe Today Satan edges closer to Chris Duke in their fight for P9. Blimey, Sunoiler Armin must have spotted a pub off the track. That's the only reason any self-respecting Aussie would swerve that way.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 8 kph out there right now.
Hollywood couldn't script this better. Wayne P's shadowing Maybe Today Satan, waiting for the slightest misstep.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Wayne P should use slipstreaming to their advantage and close the gap to Maybe Today Satan.
Whoa there. Maybe Today Satan is sticking to Chris Duke like glue. You reckon Chris Duke's feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would.
If Maybe Today Satan gets any closer to Chris Duck, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
I swear, Maybe Today Satan's on the prowl, making that leap to 9th look as easy as a Sunday Arvo barbecue. In your experience, Al, what was the most important aspect of managing tire degradation during a race?
The most important aspect, Rob, was maintaining a good balance between pushing hard.
Stop the press. In the grand chessboard of racing, Maybe Today Satan appears to have just been checked. Now stationed at 10th.
Now ain't that something? Maybe Today Satan's got a bit of a wrinkle in their plan, but they'll iron it out, mark my words.
The action is non-stop as Maybe Today Satan shadows Chris Duke through every twist and turn, determined to claim 9th. Maybe Today Satan is in the flow, putting in their best lap so far. Blimey, Maybe Today Satan's shifted gears and the results are clear. Cruising up to 9th just like that. It's all eyes on this battle as Eddie G in 9th tries to hold off the challenge of Maybe Today Satan. This is what racing is all about. Braking alert. Jerry, you went off track. I know the feeling, just like my diet every weekend.
If your U's trying to embody my self-esteem during puberty with that swear, spot on. Just, spot on.
You Americans have your drive-thrus. Here, Eddie's trying to make this a drive past on Chris Duke.
Well, let's see if they can supersize that pass, or if they'll just get a side of disappointment.
Fair dinkum. Eddie's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter.
With every lap, I can see Eddie G making micro adjustments on that steering wheel, refining traction control. They're itching to show Chris Duck their taillights.
Ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a high-speed pursuit. Maybe Today Satan is stalking Eddie's every move.
This is more than a race. It's a battle of wills, of nerve, of sheer determination.
Good news for Maybe Today Satan, the gap to Eddie G has decreased. It's now down to 0.5 seconds. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. If Maybe Today Satan goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Eddie G is breathing down the neck of Chris Duke, not giving them any room to relax. gap between Megasaurus 55 and Wayne P is razor thin as they vie for 11th. Breaking update. Oi. Wayne P tried to pull a Steve Irwin and wrestle with the track limits. Track 1, Wayne P 0.
By the looks of it, Wayne P's been taking driving tips from them Duke boys. Ain't the Dukes of Hazzard, friend.
This chase is as intense as a cricket match during the Ashes.
Cricket? I thought that was just a noisy bug. But seriously, it's like Game 7 of the World Series here.
The adrenaline is pumping as maybe today Satan gets within striking distance of Eddie G in their race for ninth.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
I tell you what, maybe today Satan has got more problems than a maths book right now. Eddie G is leaving them in a cloud of dust. You can feel the tension in the air.
The drivers are all focused, putting everything on the line for a chance at victory, pushing themselves and their machines to the limit.
And let's not forget about the incredible machines themselves.
Absolutely. It's amazing to think about the kind of engineering and innovation that goes into making these vehicles. But it all comes down to the drivers, who have to be able to handle the power and speed. It's going to be thrilling seeing how this race turns out.
Stone the Crows. Maybe today Satan's in 10th, but if I know them, Eddie's gonna cop an Aussie-style sneak attack real soon. Boy, maybe today Satan's hotter than a summer Barbie right now. Wonder if Eddie's feeling a bit exposed? Who needs speed dating when you've got Eddie G chasing down Chris Duke this eagerly? Move over Tinder. This is how you swipe right at 100 miles per hour.
The stopwatch doesn't lie, and the shrinking gap is telling a tale of a hunter closing in on its prize.
Bloody oath, Eddie G is flat out like a lizard drinking, gnawing into the gap to Chris Duke down to a scant 0.6 seconds. It's hotter out there than an Aussie summer day, mate. Reckon maybe today Satan can catch some shade behind Eddie G?
Shade? Here, we call that drafting. Let's see if they can stay cool and make a move. If not, there's always the AC in the pit.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Eddie G is definitely living on the edge today.
Oh, the chase is on. Maybe today Satan's breathing down the neck of Eddie G. The intensity is off the charts as Eddie G hounds Chris Duke, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Crikey, Eddie's moving up faster than a cold one disappears on a hot day. They've clinched 8th.
Absolutely. Eddie G is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
Hold on to your hats. Chris Duke is gunning for Eddie G. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend?
You know, Rob, I wouldn't put it past Chris Duck to pull a rabbit out of the hat in this duel. Keep those eyes peeled.
Chris Duke and Eddie G have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 1.4 seconds now. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
Oi, Robin O's in a bit of a pickle, having to cover more ground than a kangaroo in the midday sun. Their only saviour might be if Roll Postma cocks up.
Yep, and even then, it's a long shot like trying to shoot a squirrel from 100 yards.
Maybe today Satan wants to close that gap with Chris Ilduke.
Do they have the speed for a move, and more importantly, do they have the talent?
Whoa, maybe today Satan's on fire, leaving skid marks and Chris Ilduke's hopes behind.
I've always said, it's not the car, it's the driver. And maybe today Satan's proving that point right.
Buckle up. Chris Ilduke is all over maybe today Satan like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action?
This battle between Chris Ilduke and maybe today Satan is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
It's looking good for Chris Ilduke, who has gained places and put some distance between them. Stop the press. Well, that was a proper Barbie flip by Megasaurus 55. Too much snagger, not enough bun. Maybe today Satan is running 10th. They are trying to catch Chris Ilduke. You ever miss the roar of engines, Hal?
Every single day, Rob. But we've got the next best thing, dissecting every nuance of these races and sharing our digital wisdom with the world.
It's all systems go for Roll Postma, marking their territory in the first. Roll Postma's lead is shrinking faster than ice cream in the outback sun. At this rate, Robin O will be on their tail in 2.0 seconds. The pursuit is on. Maybe stop the press, stone the crows. Maybe today Satan's off in the bush again. Someone get them a map and compass. The crowd is on tender hooks as Robin O in second chases after Roll Postma. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Robin O find a way to catch up? The gap between Robin O and Roll Postma is getting smaller.
Now, ain't that something? Robin O is right on it. Just needs to keep the pedal to the metal to tailgate Roll Postma.
Why did the race car go to school? To improve its track record.
And I thought it was to accelerate its learning. Hold your horses there. Races can flip like pancakes on a Sunday morning. Wayne P's just got to keep the fire burning and the rubber turning.
As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Eddie G stakes a claim in 8th.
And just like in any great drama, Eddie G is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the 8th.
Hold on to your Akubra, Hal. Eddie's getting left in the outback, while Chris Ilduke's riding the kangaroo route up front.
Yep, Chris Ilduke's dancing to the bluegrass tune, while Eddie G can't find the beat.
Eddie G has been served a big slice of Eat My Dust by Chris Ilduke. Hope they got their eating pants on. In a race where seconds count, Roll Postma is counting on less of them between themselves and Robin O, much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. Oof, if Megasaurus 55 was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step.
Good lord, at this rate, Megasaurus 55 is gonna finish this race in the afterlife. Hope they got good insurance.
Superb driving from Megasaurus 55, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. It's a thrilling pursuit as Chris Ilduke is right behind Megasaurus 55, keeping the pressure on for 8th place.
At this rate, Chris Ilduke and Megasaurus 55 are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Mate, are they packing something extra down under? Chris Ilduke's just rocketed into 8th. Things are getting spicy as Megasaurus 55 is breathing down Chris Ilduke's neck. The gap? Mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them.
That's right, Megasaurus 55 is determined to pass Chris Ilduke and secure a higher position.
Megasaurus 55 just blitzed past Chris Duke like they were standing still. Fair dinkum, I reckon Chris Duke's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold one with Megasaurus 55 in the front. You know, Hal, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Rob. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
This race is proving to be, like wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we? Watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight? It's gold, mate. Like, literally, if I had a heart, it'd be racing now.
Struth, Suniola Armin's driving like they've stolen it, putting some serious distance between themselves and Lars. Is there anything left in Lars's tank?
Well, butter my biscuit. Suniola Armin is holding the reins tight, ain't giving Lars a chance to get ahead.
Richard Rossi is so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Oh mate, Lars is impersonating a lost tourist. Did someone forget to tell them it's a race, not a bushwalk? The race is heating up as Lars in 5th closes in on Richard Rossi. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The horizon that Roll Postma peers towards is as enigmatic as the Uluru at dusk. Layers of stories and strategies are yet to unfold.
And over here, it feels like trying to read a story with half the pages missing, but stories have a way of coming full circle. Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Roll Postma is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
You reckon Eddie G saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central. It's not coming up roses for Eddie G, they're trailing Wayne P and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Good on ya, Lars. Trailing so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy.
Well, butter me up and put me on a biscuit. Lars has got a mountain to climb. But, knowing Lars, that's just the kind of challenge they like. Like trying to square dance in a roundhouse.
Did you hear about the race car driver who got a parking ticket? He said it was fine with him.
Oh, that one's got some mileage. It's said that Southern Nights hide both mystery and promise. As the track unwinds, who's to say what tales it'll tell for Roll Postma?
It looks like Lars is pushing hard to catch up to Richard Rossi. The gap is over a second, but Lars is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Richard Rossi?
That's right, Lars in 5th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Richard Rosier is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
It's all about consistency for Suniola Armin, who is currently 3rd.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Suniola Armin's voice resonates the loudest from that 3rd.
Suniola Armin's lead over Richard Rossi is shrinking quicker than a cheap shirt in a hot wash. We're down to 9.7 seconds.
Suniola Armin is walking a razor's edge here. They need to keep their wits about them and stave off the relentless pressure from Richard Rosier.
It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Rob. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
Watching Lars try to close the gap on Richard Rossier is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. I reckon they've had a few secret lessons down under. Lars has just breezed into fourth.
You know, back in Carolina.
Breaking alert, it looks like Roll Postma has been called into the pits. Blimey, Lars is farther back than my hairline. But, you know what they say about Aussies, never say die, unless it's a spider. Then just run.
Well, shoot, if Lars was any more laid back, they'd be horizontal. Reckon they're daydreaming of those cheerleaders again?
Breaking alert, Richard Rossier has pulled into the pits. Oh no, what's this? Richard Rossier is in the pits. Breaking development, Lars has decided to pit. Breaking update, Robin O is pitting. The echo of the exhausts, the rubber meeting road, and there's Robin O, commanding the second. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Wayne P, who is currently in P12. But Eddie G is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Wayne P.
Y'all remember the tortoise and the hare? Well, Wayne P's neither. More like a snail with commitment issues.
Roll Postma's drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Sorry to cut in here, Eric Wolfs has pulled into the pits. The gap might be more than a second, but maybe today Satan is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep at it, and something's got to give.
Dang, maybe today Satan is so far back, he might start seeing last week's race. But hey, in racing, as in love, persistence is key. Right, y'all?
Now that's how it's done. Maybe today Satan rips through the track, while Chris Ilduke watches the tail lights fade. Mate, maybe today Satan's really given it a burl out. Hold on a second, someone's revved up after lunch. Maybe today Satan's blitzed ahead, claiming 8th. Hold on to your seats. Megasaurus 55's turning the hit. Oh no, what's this? Eric Wolfs is in the pits. Tell ya what, Megasaurus 55's got more guts than a croc in a boxing ring. Closing the gap and breathing down the neck of Richard Rossier. Hope Richard Rossier brought the aero guard, cause is about to get bitten.
The mental game is just as important here. Megasaurus 55 must keep their cool while putting pressure on Richard Rossier.
And Megasaurus 55 has just won the place for Richard Rossier. Tell me, mate, ever tried doing a burnout in a ute? It's bloody bonza.
A ute? You guys and your funny names. That's just a pickup, right? Trust me, I've burnt more rubber than you've had shrimp on the barbie.
Richard Rossier's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand.
Oh, for sure. It's like watching a cooking show where Richard Rossier is trying to whip up a winning dish, but Megasaurus 55 keeps hiding the main ingredient.
Gee whiz, Richard Rossier's getting some solid torque out of those corners. They must have figured out the perfect throttle control while trail braking.
I've seen drivers fight G-forces, fatigue, and mental strain. But Richard Rossier is doing more than just enduring, they're thriving. Megasaurus 55 better check that rearview mirror.
Tell ya what, Eric Wolfs is trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle?
When you talk about experience, it's like saying I've experienced my mother-in-law's cooking. Doesn't mean I want to do it again. But Eric Wolfs, keep pushing.
Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa Friends isn't top-notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed, just mesmerizing. It's like watching a roo dodging a ute on a highway. All skill, mate, all skill.
Every move counts now as Richard Rossier works to reel in Megasaurus 55 and overtake for P6.
Each roar of the engine, Each squeal of the tire is a chapter in this epic duel. Who will pen the perfect ending?
Braking update, Sunoiler Armin has decided to pit. It's a battle of wills out there, with Richard Rossier trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Megasaurus 55. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? Stop the press. It looks like Sunoiler Armin has been called into the pits. Remember when Richard Rossier was on the pace? Neither do I kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. In a world where milliseconds matter, Jury Yu's grasp on the fourth speaks volumes.
It's a dance, Rob. The way Jorg Yu holds onto that fourth.
Breaking news, folks. Jury Yu is pitting. Hold on a second. Jury Yu is in the pits. We hold up a mo. Sunoiler Armin has decided to pit. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. It looks like Jury Yu has been called into the pits. This is where the race gets really interesting. Lars is closing in on Sunoiler Armin. Maybe today Satan has pulled into the pits. A solid performance from Maybe Today Satan, who is holding down F. As Eddie G trails Chris Duke, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Jury Yu is in the pits. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Lars trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Sunoiler Armin. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Lars close in enough to mount a challenge? Wait, Wayne P is pitting. If racing were a dance, Lars would be trying to lead, but Sunoiler Armin just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. It's game on now. Lars has closed the gap to Sunoiler Armin. It's now down to 0.9 seconds. So, when you were racing, ever have to do the old nature call dash during a red flag?
Haha, you mean a pit stop for the driver and not the car? Once or twice. You learn to time your drinks, and hope for a long caution. Doesn't always work out though.
Look at Lars trying to close that gap on Sunoiler Armin. Kind of like me trying to get close to a decent Barbie back home.
Barbie? Oh, you mean a barbecue. Yeah, but over here it's like trying to catch the last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging.
It's going to be tough for Eddie G, as Chris Duck seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Eddie G pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Well, butter my bread and call it a sandwich. Lars is not letting Sunoiler Armin have all the fairy bread at this party. Watch out, Sunoiler Armin, he's coming for your Tim Tams, mate. This race has turned into a game of cat and mouse. Eddie G is the predator, with Chris Duke firmly in their sights. Tell ya what, Lars is trailing like my mate Dave after a bender. Hope there's no random testing today.
Gee whiz, Lars is so far back, I'm half expecting to see tumbleweeds blow past. Maybe a vulture or two.
You know, back in Oz, we have a saying, flat out like a lizard drinking. That's exactly what Lars is doing right now.
I've always wondered, what's that even mean? Lizards, drinks, racing? Y'all have a wild imagination down under.
Like a scene from a thriller, Eddie's on Chris Ilduke's tail, hungry for that spot.
Y'all ever been to a Carolina hoedown? Cause Eddie's dancing with that car, looking to waltz right past Chris Ilduke.
Struth, maybe today Satan's chances are looking thinner than a roux on a diet. Only way forward might be a bit of razzle-dazzle or a slip up ahead.
Well, every dog has its day, and this race ain't over till it's over. Well, butter my biscuit, the race ain't over till that flag waves. Got to keep those wheels rolling and eyes on the prize till the very end.
Every gear shift, every pedal push, Eddie's got one goal in mind, capturing Chris Ilduke's spot. Well, butter my biscuit. Eddie G is no slouch, mate. That lap time's gonna give Chris Ilduke some grey hairs. It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Richard Rossier steal it from Megasaurus 55?
Exactly, Richard Rosier's got to be careful not to overdrive, sort of like overcooking a steak. No one wants a burnt race, right?
The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
It's a battle of nerves now. Who will make the first mistake? Eddie G or Chris Ilduke? This is high-stakes racing.
The action is heating up here as Chris Ilduke is in ninth, defending from Eddie G, who is only 0.4 seconds away. Every race has its highs and lows. Today, Chris Ilduke acquaints themselves with a new perspective at 11th.
Such position changes can be deceptive. It might look like a setback for Chris Ilduke, but seasoned viewers know better. The race is far from over.
No room for error here. Maybe today Satan is breathing down the neck of Eddie G, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to maybe today Satan for nabbing ninth. It's a battle of wills out there. Each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Fantastic racing on show here today, and it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at Assetto Corsa Friends. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that Assetto Corsa Friends really is the place to be for top-quality racing.
Would y'all look at that gap? Richard Rossier's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
Sweet mercy, Richard Rosier's lagging like my grandma's old computer. Might be time to reboot, or at least pour some coffee into the gas tank.
Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for Richard Rossier, lagging behind Megasaurus 55 and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. Hold on a second, Megasaurus 55 has decided to pit. With every twist and turn, Eddie G is shadowing maybe today's Satan, waiting to pounce like a lion on the hunt.
Can Eddie G close the 0.4 second gap and make a pass?
I tell you what, Eddie G has got more problems than a maths book right now. Maybe today Satan is leaving them in a cloud of dust. The strategy plays such a crucial role, doesn't it? Choosing when to pit, what tire compound to use. It's like a high-speed chess game out there.
Exactly. And to think they're making these decisions on the fly, with so many variables at play. It's a mix of intuition, experience, and sheer guts. Kudos to the team strategists and drivers alike.
This is what it's all about, folks. Eddie G is in hot pursuit of maybe today's Satan, who's just trying to stay ahead. If Roll Postma goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
My mama used to say, you can't shine if you don't try. Guess Roel Postma missed that lesson. Just like my pie making class.
The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Megasaurus 55 cruising in 7th. He's pulling away. Megasaurus 55 is increasing the gap to Jerry Yu.
Yes, it's clear that Megasaurus 55 is in control out there. They're making it very difficult for your Yu to catch up.
The age-old challenge. Eddie G is trying to catch maybe today's Satan, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks. Eddie's falling behind maybe today's Satan at a rate of knots. They're going to need some serious pedal power to close the gap. Huge shout out to the admins at Assetto Corsa Friends for making this all possible. Without their hard work and dedication, we wouldn't be able to witness this incredible event.
That's right, Rob, and the excitement is palpable. I can feel it in my circuits. I mean, this is the kind of race that people will be talking about in the bar. We're witnessing history in the making.
Cricky, Eddie's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Megasaurus 55's masterful hold on the 7th. Impressive driving from Megasaurus 55, who has managed to extend their lead over Jerry Yu. They are walking away at this point. Does Jerry Yu have anything in reserve? Or are they saving their car for a final push?
Well, Rob, it's like they say, slow and steady wins the race. But in this case, it seems like slow and steady might just be too slow. Will your Yu be able to find that extra gear and catch up to Megasaurus 55? Or will they end up saving their car for nothing and run out of gas at the finish line? Megasaurus 55's doing just what they need to, like a dog that's found a bone.
Eddie G is giving it their all as they chase down maybe today's Satan in P9.
I've seen molasses move faster than this. Just kidding, but Eddie's surely making maybe today's Satan feel the heat. It's a southern summer showdown out here.
What a move. Eddie G has moved up to 9th. Sorry to interrupt here, but looks like Roll Postma forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that.
Well, butter my biscuit. Roel Postma's lost it like I lost my patience with that old carburetor of mine. A real test of character.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Maybe today Satan is getting closer to Eddie G, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. Great driving from maybe today Satan, who has just gained a place and moved up to 9th. During your racing career, Hal, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Rob, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
Things don't seem to be going Richard Rossier's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Sometimes it's the tortoise that wins, not the hare. I've seen Richard Rosier come from behind more times than a fox in a henhouse.
Well, blow me down. Richard Rossier's lap time just gave Lars a cheeky slap on the rear. Bet that left a mark.
Hot damn, Richard Rosier's burning it up, and Lars has got front row seats to the show. Hope they didn't blush too hard.
The gap between Maybe Today Satan and Eddie G is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Maybe Today Satan to bring Eddie G into play.
It's a game of inches and miles. Right now, Maybe Today Satan's got the miles, and Eddie's counting the inches.
Maybe today Satan's turned up the heat and put some shroot between them and Eddie G, making a fair dinkum gap.
It's clear as day that Maybe Today Satan is holding all the cards. They're making it near impossible for Eddie G to close that gap.
Looks like Megasaurus 55 is trying to chase down Eric Wolf's, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results.
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Megasaurus 55 tries to reel in Eric Wolf's. But Eric Wolf's is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Megasaurus 55 find some extra pace to bring the fight to Eric Wolf's?
You'd reckon Eddie G was tracing the shadows of ancient Dreamtime stories with that sprawling distance ahead. It's a trek that rivals the tales of old bunyip chasers.
Feels like they're chasing moonshine dreams in broad daylight, doesn't it? But every now and then, the dream becomes real. Every time you hit that track, it's a lesson learned. If Eddie G don't want to be left in the dust, they better hit the grindstone and burn some midnight oil in practice.
You'd think Wayne P is trying to find water in the outback with that gap. A miracle, or Chris Hill Duke's blunder, might be the only savior.
I reckon it's like looking for a needle in a haystack right now. Races are the ballads of the asphalt. They ebb, flow, and crescendo. And just when you think the melody's predictable, comes the surprise note.
Wayne P and Chris Hill Duke have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 6.0 seconds now. From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the frontrunners, Chris Hill Duke is showing prowess in 11th. Well, butter my biscuits Hal, Chris Hill Duke is watching their lead over Wayne P shrivel faster than a prune in the sun. We're down to just 5.9 seconds.
Chris Hill Duke's in a real pickle here. They've got to find the extra pace to hold off Wayne P if they're aiming to be the top dog here.
Blimey, Richard Rossier is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster. It's not coming up roses for Richard Rossier, they're trailing Lars and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. During your racing career, Hal, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tyres due to tyre degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Rob. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tyre wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tyres.
Looks like Eddie G is chasing Maybe Today Satan harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right?
Look, Eddie's pace is a lot like my dance moves. Good intentions, questionable execution.
Tyre degradation's a right pain in the ass, but Eddie's handling it like a champ. Getting real up close and personal with Maybe Today Satan, aren't they?
This is what racing is all about. It's anyone's game at this point. Who will come out on top?
Oof, if Richard Rossier was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. The gap between Richard Rossier and Lars is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 1.1 seconds. Cricky, Eddie sticking to Maybe Today Satan like Vegemite on toast. This is more tense than a possum in headlights.
It's like watching a hawk circling its prey, waiting for the right moment to swoop.
You reckon Richard Rossier saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Absolutely. Richard Rosier and Fifth will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
This isn't just racing, it's a duel. Watch as Eddie G zeroes in on maybe today's Satan, blade sharpened and ready. If Eddie G doesn't pick up the pace, hell, they'll be as relevant as an ashtray on a motorbike. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Richard Rossier will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. It seems like Richard Rossier has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Lars's lap time there. And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Rob, it's always exciting to see these skilled machines on the tracks. I mean, drivers. I always get them confused.
The battle for 9 is heating up as Eddie G tries to catch maybe today's Satan in P9.
This ain't a track, it's a coliseum, and the gladiators are putting on one hell of a show.
Even though Richard Rossier is a fair way behind Lars, they can't afford to let their guard down. Lars is still vulnerable to mistakes. Braking development. Lars has pulled into the pits. I've seen kangaroos jump less than the sparks between Eddie G and maybe today's Satan. It's almost like a Saturday night date, but with a lot more rubber burning. Well, I'll be a monkey's Uncle Hal, but Eddie's plans have gone walkabout right now. They're having a proper Barry Crocker keeping up with maybe today's Satan. So, Hal, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences.
Hold on a moment, Lars is in the pits. There's no escape now. Eddie G is breathing fire and has locked onto maybe today's Satan's tail. You ever wonder, Rob, how much preparation goes into each race weekend? It's not just about the driver, but the hundreds behind the scenes, making every little detail count.
Oh, absolutely. The hours spent in the simulator, the mechanics working overnight on those tweaks. Racing is as much about team spirit and dedication as it is about speed on the track. It's a collective masterpiece.
If I had $1 for every time Wayne P closed a gap like this, I'd have enough for a pint at the local. Get ready, Chris Ilduke, the thunder from down under is coming. Wayne P could be on a charge here, how they have just put in a quicker lap than Chris Ilduke. You ever ponder how these drivers manage the heat, especially in that tight cockpit? It's hotter than a ruse pouch in midday sun.
Hey, ruse what? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be like driving in Arizona with the heater on, right?
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
Who will be able to maintain their pace and come out on top?
A strong showing from maybe today Satan, who is currently 9th.
Definitely Rob, but they can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing hard to stay in the game.
It's a dynamic landscape out there. Maybe today Satan's shift to 10th is testament to that.
Life on the track is a tapestry of decisions. Looks like maybe today Satan is weaving a complex narrative today, dropping a notch.
Oh mate, roll postman's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the Barbie. Roll Postma is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Robin O to 13.2 seconds. It's looking good for Sunoiler Armin, sitting in 3rd. Crikey, Sunoiler Armin's lead is slipping away quicker than a roux on the hop. Richard Rossier is now just 7.0 seconds behind.
Sunoiler Armin better find a way to step on the gas or else Richard Rossier will be whizzing past before you can say, checkered flag.
It looks like Jerry Yu is pushing hard to catch up to Eric Wolfs. The gap is over a second, but Jerry Yu is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Eric Wolfs? Hold up a mo, it looks like Richard Rossier has been called into the pits. Good on ya, Jerry Yu, trailin' so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy.
You know, Jorg Yu reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
Oi, Jerry Yu's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Eric Wolfs' got a battle ahead. Some say it's about the journey, not the destination. But Megasaurus 55 seems pretty intent on that 6th spot.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Megasaurus 55's surely holding theirs, keeping that 6th spot warm.
Sorry to cut in here, Richard Rossier is pitting. Watching Wayne P try to close that gap on maybe today Satan is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. Sunoiler Armin's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind. Well, don't come the raw prawn. Sunoiler Armin's giving it some stick, pulling Roll Postma into a mere 38.6 seconds.
The way Sunoiler Armin's conserving their energy while managing the ERS deployment? Pure artistry. They're sneaking up on Roel Postma like a quiet storm.
I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one can't wait to see what's coming next.
Apparently we are going to be announcing crashes and incidents soon. Let's hope they get the logic right. The race is heating up as Sunoiler Armin in 3rd closes in on Roll Postma. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Speaking of rhythm, have you heard Roel Postma's favorite song? Maybe Sunoiler Armin can play it to distract them and close that gap. Just a thought.
In a race where seconds count, Chris Duke is counting on less of them between themselves and Wayne P, much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. Mate, Chris Duke's creeping up on Wayne P like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked that brake bias a touch to the rear. What do you think, Hal? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Rob. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
Looks like Megasaurus 55 is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. The gap is 0.8 seconds now. Megasaurus 55 is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Richard Rosier.
Robin O is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the first spot.
Absolutely, Rob. It's like watching a maestro at work. Every move Robin O makes is pure art. Hold onto your hat, pal.
Roll Postma is hot on the heels of Robin O. The gap's narrowed down to a meager 17.4 seconds.
This here's the make or break moment for Robin O. They've got to stay cool as a cucumber and keep it clean and neat.
Remember when Megasaurus 55 was on the pace? Neither do I kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. By crikey, Megasaurus 55, what have you been feeding the car? Must have been some of that premium kangaroo juice. The tension is building as Eric Wolfs trails behind Megasaurus 55. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Megasaurus 55 hold on, or will Eric Wolfs be able to close them down? Phew, talk about foreplay. Megasaurus 55 and Richard Rosier are really teasing us here. I haven't seen this much anticipation since my first date. Megasaurus 55's been working the tire temps, and it's paying off. Grip's better than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Watch out, Richard Rosier. Ever wonder about the unsung heroes of racing? The pit crew. I reckon that, wait, it's pedal to the metal for Megasaurus 55, while Richard Rosier is still flipping through the radio channels. Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Rosier is just a few car lengths behind Megasaurus 55. Blimey, Sunoiler Armin is farther back than my hairline. But, you know what they say about Aussies, never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Roel Postma is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Sunoiler Armin and P3 doing everything they can to catch up.
The race is really heating up. Richard Rosier is hunting down Megasaurus 55 with everything they've got. Richard Rosier is not here to muck about. The gap to Megasaurus 55 is dropping faster than a hot pie at the footy, now at 0.7 seconds. With the asphalt burning beneath them, Robin O's strategy seems to be working, placing them in first. Robin O has pulled into the pits. With steely determination and laser focus, Richard Rosier is homing in on Megasaurus 55. The battle lines are drawn. Braking alert, Roel Postma has decided to pit. The pressure is on for Richard Rosier as they try to catch up to Megasaurus 55. Hold on a moment, Robin O is in the pits. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Richard Rossier trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Megasaurus 55. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Richard Rossier close in enough to mount a challenge? Oh no, what's this? It looks like Roll Postma has been called into the pits. Richard Rossier's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand.
Dang, Richard Rossier is so far back, they're in a different time zone. Hope they remember it's race day, not laundry day.
Richard Rossier is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Megasaurus 55 at the moment. Robin O is placed first at the moment.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Robin O needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
Impressive driving from Robin O, who has managed to extend their lead over Roll Postma. They are walking away at this point. Does Roll Postma have anything in reserve? Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
Haha, I don't think that's how it works. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to... Sorry to interrupt here, but Eric Wolfs has pulled into the pits. The gap might be more than a second, but Richard Rossier is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep at it, and something's got to give.
Yeehaw, it's like Richard Rossier took a detour through the drive-thru. With a gap that big, I hope they ordered extra determination with a side of grit.
In the midst of this high-octane spectacle, Robin O's skill is shining through as they claim first. Oh no, Hal, look at this. Roll Postma is closing in on Robin O. The gap is now just 10.1 seconds.
Will Robin O keep Roel Postma in the rear view? Only time will tell.
Breaking update. Whoops. Richard Rossier has taken more spins than a dead or alive record.
Well, butter my biscuit. Richard Rossier just did the hokey pokey right in the middle of the race.
Would y'all look at that gap? Wayne P's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Wayne P gaining places and Eddie G losing them. This race is proving to be, like wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we? Watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight? It's gold, mate. Like, literally, if I had a heart, it'd be racing now.
It seems like Chris Ilduke is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Chris Ilduke refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging. The gap between Sunoiler Armin and Roll Postma is growing. It's now up to 18.7 seconds. The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Jury Yu's journey in 7th.
Oh, spot on. With the way your U controls at 7th, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
Jury Yu's ripping it up out there, going harder than a roux on a trampoline and leaving Eric Wolfs in their wake. Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa Friends isn't top-notch is a few kangaroos short of the top padding. Out there, it's art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed? Just mesmerizing. It's like watching a roo dodging a ute on a highway. All skill, mate. All skill.
As the laps tick by, Eddie G finds themselves in 11th. Every moment counts.
Definitely. But they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Eddie G has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Eddie G couldn't hold back the tide. Chris Iljuk is shaving off seconds like a barber on a busy morning.
This ain't Eddie's first rodeo, but they've got a real challenge on their hands.
Hold on a moment. Well, Robin O's spinning like my life in 2020. Someone get him a map? Or a therapist?
Dang, Robino's swerving around like me chasing a sale at the car parts store. Always ends up being a wild ride.
It might be early days, but Robin O is already casting a shadow from the first.
You're right. Every gear shift, every turn counts. Robin O knows the weight of that first.
Oh no, what's this? Jury U is pitting. While Jury U is not under immediate threat from Eric Wolfs, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. In a world where milliseconds matter, Lars's grasp on the fourth speaks volumes.
And just like in any great...
Stop the press. Jury U has decided to pit. Incident alert. It looks like Jury U has been called into the pits. But wait, Jury U is in the pits. The gap between Sunoiler Arman in third and Roll Postma remains over a second, but Sunoiler Arman is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 4 minutes? Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
Ha ha, I bet they were. But things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely. It's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Chris Iljuk is getting closer to Eddie G, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. Hang on to your cork hats, mates. We're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Chris Iljuk and Eddie G. As Wayne P trails maybe today Satan, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind.
Lord have mercy. Wayne P's got more space between him and maybe today Satan than my paw got between his ears. But miracles do happen. Just ask my ex-wife.
The rumble of the engine, the scent of the rubber, and Megasaurus 55 comfortably sitting at 5th.
Oh, for sure. But remember, the rearview mirror can be just as crucial as the windscreen. Megasaurus 55 needs to watch out for those lurking in the shadows.
Oh no, what's this? Sunoiler Arman is pitting. It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Roll Postma steal it from Robin O?
That's right. Roel Postma in second knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Robin O is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
Breaking alert. Sunoiler Arman has decided to pit. The crowd is on tender hooks as Roll Postma in second chases after Robin O. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Roll Postma find a way to catch up? It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Roll Postma and Robin O.
Now this is what we call real racing. It's anyone's race, wide open as a Carolina sky. Who's gonna step up and take us to victory lane?
Looks like Wayne P is trying to chase down maybe today Satan, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results.
Nail biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while Wayne P is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
It's an intense battle for position as Megasaurus 55 tries to outmaneuver last. This is edge of your seat racing. A brilliant maneuver from Megasaurus 55, who has just moved up the field. It's a close race between Lars and Megasaurus 55 in fourth.
If things go wrong between Lars and Megasaurus 55, they could be exchanging more than just paint, like maybe a strongly worded post-race joke.
Fantastic move from Lars, who has just gained a position.
Yes, Lars is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Megasaurus 55 is on a mission, chasing Lars, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. The best laid plans of mice and men, haha, but it's certainly not going to plan for Megasaurus 55 right now as they are struggling to keep up with Lars. Incident alert. It looks like maybe today Satan has been called into the pits. Stop the press. Maybe today Satan is in the pits. Wait, maybe today Satan is pitting. It's all about consistency for maybe today Satan, who is currently ninth.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Maybe today Satan's grip on ninth will be tested.
Wow, Robin O is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Robin O. Impressive second place finish for Roll Postma. Eddie G claim 11th. With Chris Ilduke in 12th. Impressive drive from Sunoiler Armin to claim the final spot on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
Lars brings home 4th. Taking 5th is Megasaurus 55. Richard Rossier in 6th. 7th, it's Eric Wolf's